changing the alarm control key switch. First, you take your key and get a green light. Then you take your access key that gets you in the box and open the box. Then you shut off the master control switch. And now we're ready to change the key switch. Okay, the first thing you want to do is to disconnect the 4 wires. Oh, excuse me, there's a zip tie that needs to come off first before you can disconnect the wires. Go ahead and then take a pair of pliers and just take off the zip tie. And then you can go ahead and disconnect the 4 connectors, the 2 large blue ones on the top and the 2 smaller ones below. Now we can remove the black chirping key switch that's on the bottom of the large switch. Take a pair of pliers, turn it counterclockwise a couple of turns until it's loose, and then you can remove it with your fingers. You have to continue to unscrew it counterclockwise. It takes a few minutes. There's several threads there. Then you take your access key again and turn the tumbler up so that it's out of the way for removing the switch. And then you take your Allen wrench, and up on top is a hole that has an Allen wrench screw in it, and you turn that counterclockwise a couple of turns just to loosen it. And then you take your pliers and take the nut off of the switch. Again, once you get it started a couple of turns, you can remove it with your fingers after it's loose. Take that all the way off and the washer behind it. And you can slide the collar off of the switch, push it from the top, and it comes right off. And you can remove the old key switch and replace it with the new one. And now we'll do the same thing in reverse. We'll take the collar with the Allen wrench screw up and slide it over the connectors and push it onto the box and shove it all the way about a quarter way back. And then you can take your chirping key switch button and get the threads going on it. It's easier to thread in this position than when the collar is pushed all the way to the back. And once it's tight, or almost tight, you push the collar all the way back and push it from the bottom if you need to, and it'll go back easier. And then hold it up against the bottom of the key switch and continue to tighten the chirping black button switch. You turn that until it's snug, don't over tighten it. And then back it off so that your connectors on the bottom are left and right, so they're easy to connect onto. And then you can start your nut and your washer, put those back on, but then just get the threads about halfway. And take your Allen wrench and resecure the Allen wrench nut on the top. Again, turning it until you feel the pressure, doing it gently, don't over tighten. You can take the actual collar and push it up with your thumb on your other hand so that it's easier to make the tightening. As soon as it's snug, that's plenty enough. And then you can take your pliers and tighten the nut down so it's secure completely. Same again, turn it until it's snug, until the key switch doesn't move easily, but don't over tighten. And then if necessary, you can take your fingers and straighten the switch out if it's moved to the right during your tightening. And you can go ahead and connect your wires. The small wires to the bottom and the blue larger connectors to the back of the switch. Then you can take the new zip tie that we have included, and the purpose of the zip tie is just to make it look neat and to hold the wires against the switch, and wrap them around the blue wires and pull it tight, and then you can take a pair of scissors and cut off the extra part of the zip tie. The installation should be complete, and we will test that by getting a green light, turning the power control switch back on, and if you hear that chirping sound, the installation has been done correctly.